So spawning in the top right-hand corner as the yellow Protoss, we have KingPi. And in the bottom left-hand corner as the green Zerg, we have Tempest, who I thought was tier 1, but I guess not. I thought Tempest was like 17 or 1800, but apparently not. So we get one last PVZ to close it off. Yeah, it was really good that you kept building Reavers. Reavers are pretty great. You can just like use them on defense and stay alive. I mean, if he wouldn't have overextended with those Zealots, he would have beat you 100%. Like he definitely had to make some big blunders to give that game back to you. But the way you played it was pretty good. The only thing maybe that would have been worth trying is a little bit more Reaver harass to get back into it. Possibly like speed on the shuttle or something like that. But given what you could do, you played it pretty well, and he just got overeager to the point that it actually just cost him the game entirely. Okay, we have overpull here from Tempest. And in comes the scouting probe here for KingPi. And let's see what structure he puts at the natural. Alright, so he forge and uh-oh, probe's gotta get out of there. Alright, probe does get out of there. Tempest doesn't try to drill it too hard. A few more probes being produced as we would expect. And alright, trying to get his hatchery down. Probe is getting off a few hits here. Alright, so let's see. Okay, Probe I think has first blood here. Yeah, so that's going to be annoying. He's trying to take it. He's one away, but can't quite get it. So now the drone is raking its health. And now the probe is going to have to run away at some point here. And the drone should be able to get the hatchery down. Also, their lings are out. Still microing like crazy with that probe. Let's make sure he's actually getting stuff done. But he actually is getting up 2 cannons behind this. Okay, so that's good. He does lose the probe though, and there's not another probe already on the map, which could be bad here for KingPi. Especially with Lings about to be his front, it's going to mean that KingPi has to play completely blind, and that's not a comfortable way to play Protoss. Can drop. Tempest needs to turn around. Oh man, this is okay. Well, fortunately he doesn't lose a Ling. And now the main issue here for KingPi is that he has 0 intel of what Tempest is going to do. And that's going to be get gas. Oh no, Tempest! Hold position your Lings or something, but this probe might actually sneak out now. Oh, it does sneak out. Alright, so he does get it out. So he will get some intel. I don't particularly love the fact that Tempest is chasing the probe with all of his Lings, leaving nothing at the front. We do want to see if Protoss is sneaking those Zealots out onto the map. At least leave like a Ling or something. So probe will see the third base, which is nice to know. But the main thing the probe would like to see is what is going on in the main of Zerg. Is there a lair? What's being made, etc., etc. And it looks like Tempest is all about not showing KingPi that, which means that Tempest is either going to hide or bust, or he just really wants KingPi to think he's going to hide or bust. That is generally the mind game for when players are very, very obstinate about trying to block scouting. And indeed, we see it's hide or bust. So this should trigger KingPi to be putting down cannons here shortly. But if he doesn't, he's going to be in big time trouble. As Tempest is looking to make some Hydralisks. Cannons need to start soon. Getting a Stargate, but that's going to be too late. Probe is still alive. But now the Hydra are out, and production has begun. Probe will see him now. That should be panic mode. Oh man. Well, it is kind of a long travel distance on this map. But let's see what happens here. He's going to need to add a lot of cannons. He's getting a citadel. That's good for him. Now Hydra's coming on out. Hydra speed. Getting that 4th cannon. Now we watch and see how much Tempest is coming to that. Maybe he just made a drone. Okay, so this is not a committed bust, so this is actually okay. This is going to go into a macro game. He got a few cannons out of KingPi, but he didn't really make that many Hydra. Like, this is a reasonable trade here. Like, it's just going to be even Stevens. And immediately starts the lair. He's going to run in here. Should turn away pretty quickly. Yeah, now, alright, he's going to back up. Maybe try to pick off a few of these zealots here. This is kind of ridiculous, though. This is a bit of an overextension here from Tempest, and by a bit, I mean a major overextension, but he does pull back and kind of regains control of his stuff. And Tempest is droning up. We should see a 4th hatchery here fairly soon, right? We got lair done. Actually, he's opting to make a few more Hydra, which is a very interesting choice. Now, we see a second gas. Are we going to see Lurker out of this? I'm not seeing a Spire. I'm seeing a second gas. I'm kind of thinking we're going to see Lurker. Otherwise, I think he would be putting down a hatchery or something like that right now. So let's hold our eye on this and see where he goes. He's got the money for it. Otherwise, I don't understand why he's taking this gas so fast. He doesn't really need it to make Hydras off of 3 base. And he is kind of just making Hydra now. So this is a weird choice from Tempest. Looks like he wants to get the Forge down, but a DT is going to arrive. Probably in time to stop that Forge. Maybe a few Hydra get rallied over here, but I don't think this gateway is going to die before. And it's kind of convenient. You can actually just right-click both the gateway and the Forge if you can, or back a row. So he doesn't have to be super fancy with his positioning. Alright, so we are adding that 4th hatch. A few Hydra out to defend the Corsair is fine. But this DT is about to come out, and will push these Hydra back. Now he is going to get the Forge, but the DT is also going to make it out. And he'll probably send that forward. Actually, no, he's just going to run around. He's going to kill the Lings. Repositioning right now. He should actually hear or see those Lings dying. And now the DT is going to come and take care of the Hydra, but the gate at the front is down. But we already have a gate up here. No Templar out yet, though. And actually, that scares enough that he's adding 2 more cannons, so this has definitely been worth it for Tempest. I mean, when Protoss makes 7 cannons, like, that's good. Alright, is he going to sack the Corsair for the Overlord? No, smartly pulls away. Should maybe just slightly readjust that Overlord position, but Corsairs are flying away. It looks like we're going to get 2 more hatches over here. He's got quite a bit of money saved up now, although he has not made a whole lot of drones, so Tempest... You know, making all these Hydra has definitely slowed Tempest down quite a bit. He is indeed getting Lurker. We'll see if he takes a 3rd gas to further support that. He does add 2 more hatcheries, so he's got 6 hatches. He doesn't really have enough drones to support 6 hatches, though, right now. That's probably overkill, to be honest, putting down that 6 hatch, but I'm guessing he saw, oh, my money's a bit high. I should probably do something with that. But you need good saturation at each base to have 6 hatches, and he has kind of... He's got, like, okay saturation, poor saturation, and okay saturation. But he doesn't have the nice juicy saturation you need if you're going to do 4 base. And going up to 6 gate there, and getting another Forge. And, oh, double Forge from Protoss. Tempest, oh my gosh, Tempest, that's a fuckload of idle larvae, bro. That's so many idle larvae. Alright, we got... Alright, so Tempest is not droning. Tempest is going to be very fragile behind this. I feel like Tempest is kind of getting behind. Because he's not going to have a big economy. So he's going to need... probably he's going to need to make Lurker and, like, contain Protoss and drone behind that. Or, of course, bust Protoss. But honestly, I'm looking at what Protoss has, and Tempest Oh, well, this could be the kind of thing that puts you back in the game. But I'm looking at the kind of stuff that Tempest has, and you can't really bust this. So a few Hydra are probably going to sui into this army, and now we're going to start attacking this. I wonder if KingPi is going to hear that. I have not played enough on this map to know. Given these micro-against army, he's probably not going to have a freaking clue. But these cannons will see these lurkers, and he does have a pylon here to see it soon. Oh wow, I didn't even intend to do that. Whoops. Alright, so that's dead. And now the lurkers are going to move forward. Now they won't... Actually, wow. The cannon... Oh, because there's a pylon in the spot. Oh, I didn't even think about this. The lurkers are actually going into the main. There's no robo. Oh my god, this is going to... Unfortunately, Tempest has not burrowed a lurker over here to repulse these zealots, but he is going to... I mean, he's losing his main. So the main is absolutely getting destroyed. The lurkers have snuck in. This play has been good from Tempest, but he is going to lose his third base unless he's got a lurker made somewhere. Oh, he's got lurkers. Okay. He's still probably going to lose at least a hatchery or two here, but he should get back in time to save most of the rest, especially since Storm... Actually, a few storms have been saved to deal with these lurks. Let's see if the storms get thrown down. But this should be enough lurks here. Although this is so clumped up, it's ridiculous. Oh my god. This Templar has 2 storms too. Alright, it only gets 1 storm off. Alright, so this is cleaned up, and that really leaves KingPi with nothing much to do. He's honestly... Yeah, he could, like, position... Oh, that was kind of smart, though. Just to block the possibility of more units flooding in. But, I mean, he's been ransacked. What are the kills? 5, 1, 4, and 2. That's 12 probe kills, but he can't mine from his main, so he's got to concentrate all his mining down here. He's only got... Oh, okay, there's apparently a bunch of stacked probes here. So he's actually... Okay, so he's actually saved some of his probes, but they're mining almost comically inefficiently because they're all... There's at least 12 or more stacked right here. So, yeah, the mining for KingPi right now is really bad. And now Tempest can just go contain him. He did get an obs out, but he's got only Zlots. He has to remake Templar. He doesn't have any Dragoons. So he can just shut down the third and then contain him. And this is a really, really bad place to be contained. So most likely Tempest should just set up the contain and eco behind it. Now I love the way Tempest is playing. Look at that bunch of, well, a few Hydra there, but quite a few drones being made at some of the other bases. And all Tempest needs to do now at this point is set up the contain. My stream is lagging? That's weird. We'll pause for a sec. Let's see if it looks like it's lagging to me. Oh, it does show that it's being weird. Well, let's do this. Speed test. Let's see if we somehow switched connections or did something weird. Alright, we're definitely good there, but that's not what we need, what we care about for streaming. Let's see, I guess I can switch this over to this. You guys can see what's happening. No, I don't think it's still good. You can see that it's showing like a really poor transfer rate. It shouldn't be bad. I wonder if this is on Twitch's end. Can I change any of this shit while I'm in the middle of streaming? I probably can't change like what server I'm going to, huh? Yeah, I was afraid of that. Well, I'm just gonna hope it comes back. Right now it seems to be okay for the moment. But yeah, because if I stop it, then the broadcast is going to get split. Alright, so Tempest here. I assume he's going to set up a contain. Wait, where's all the... Oh, it's keeping everything in the main? That's a very odd choice. It's a very risky choice, to be honest. Although there's too many cannons for it to be worthwhile to bust. Yeah, there we go. Now Tempest is setting up the contain. Let's see if he throws a round of drones behind us. He's got quite a few larvae. He definitely spent some money. I think too much to be drones. Okay, so he's going to just make hydras behind us. Double evos is not bad. And now he's got this contain set up. Could probably spread the lurkers a little bit more, but I think he'll get to that in the meantime. Actually getting dropped for his overlords, which could be fun. And he has been able to transfer some probes back to the main base. So that's good. And sending a bunch of hydra back. I have no idea why hydralists are going back now. And hopefully the stream will continue to stay okay. But if it's not okay, you guys can tell me. Although, I actually need to grab my phone charger. I use that to read the chat. Oh wow, okay, So I see that a storm has gone down on a few of those lurkers, and for whatever reason, and I don't know what reason, Tempest is pulled back from his lurker contain with almost all of his Hydra. I haven't seen any yellow out on the map, like nothing that should have freaked out like a shuttle or anything like that. So I don't know exactly why he's doing that. That's okay. Never mind. Now I know why he's doing that. So we're gonna have a massive drop here. However, there is a Templar in the main, which is very helpful depending on the initial bit of the drop. So this is gonna be scary as hell. Oh, there's an obs there though, so the DTs are gonna sweep out these lurkers in the midst of this drop. Let's see how this plays out. This is a decent number of Hydra being dropped. I don't know where that Templar went. Maybe he got sniped. I'm honestly not sure. Let's see, not killing too many of the probes in the minerals, but that is a decent number of Hydra and a nice egg block there. It's going to delay Protoss getting back in a little bit. And still needs one more storm to clear that out completely. And already losing a few of his gateways, losing a bit more of his mining in his main. This drop is definitely doing damage here for Tempest. Cleaning out. He's already killed 3 of the gateways, so KingPi's minerals are about to be out of control. He might even get another one. The lurker actually finishes. I don't think Tempest notices burrow it. He is also dealing with these DTs over here right now. In fact, that seems to be where his attention is. And there's no storms right now, so it looks like KingPi can't even clear the drop of Tempest. And with that being the case, I think we're more or less headed towards GG. He is pulling some of the DTs back, but there's a bunch of overlords there to kill those DTs. And he's only got 2 gateways. Tempest has 5 or 6 hatcheries, and it looks like Tempest has gotten the job done. And he has brought this lurker here. He's not really participating in the fight, but yeah, he's got the job done. He's going for Hive behind this. Presumably has some upgrades going at his triple evos at his third base. Nexus goes down. Yeah, it's pretty over. Pretty over. And there we go. GG from KingPi. So yeah, I don't know that. Those 4 lurkers coming into the back of the base, just those were everything. KingPi was at a pretty solid advantage, and in just a fraction of a second, it just turned. He suicided his army into top left and lost his main mineral line. So spawning at the top right-hand corner of what I'm assuming is Fighting Spirit is Tempest. And in the bottom left-hand corner, down 1-0, needing a win to extend the series, we have KingPi. The good news for KingPi is that he was getting the better of Tempest in the early game there, in the early mid-game. He was ahead, and now he is going to try and close it out. Yeah, the only thing I didn't like is as soon as Tempest had to contain, he didn't drone that much, nor did he what's the word for it? Nor did he expand and like take a 4th behind it. Both of those would have been good choices in my opinion to kind of add to that advantage, not just let Protoss try to mass up and bust out of his contain. Use that contain as a good excuse to build a little more eco. Alright, pylon, so we'll probably see Forge and Gateway. Not using the pylon. That's part of the pylon. Forge, Gateway, slot first wall. And okay. For a second I thought he was going to go through the center. Now, let's see where Tempest takes this. Overpull for Tempest. Seems to like doing that. And then we're going to see a Forge, right? Okay, so Forge, the gateway goes there. Nice simple wall. Good walls from KingPi. And spawning pool on the way. Yes, thanks for watching Pussmeal. I will see you another time. And the Dronu. Coming on up, coming on up. Gonna make a base. No, it's scouting. It's not gonna make a base over there. Oh, okay, Probe is being an asshole. Protoss probes have a tendency of doing that. Oh, he's taking a lot of hits right now. Okay, KingPi does react in time. He is able to move that probe away. Just let's see if he can avoid losing it. Last time he lost a probe, which is not ideal. Okay, he gets a pylon down. And not gonna be the most useful pylon ever. I don't really think Tempest should attack this with both of his drones. if you want to leave one there because it's got to make the hatchery, yeah, I get that. But you got lings popping, you're gonna... Oops! A bit of a misrally on those lings. Not a big deal, but, you know, every second a little bit. Interesting cannon location. I guess this is kind of a forge protector cannon. I'd rather see them all just at that level rather than starting them there, but, you know. Yeah, like, at least he hasn't rode himself out and put this at some awkward positioning, some awkward height, awkward half-hex height. Alright, so we got 3 on gas for Tempest. Ooh, okay, so pretty fast gas here from Tempest. The kind of gas that allows you to get your Spire out and your Scourge out in time to prevent any overkills with the first Corsair. And we're doing a good job so far chasing the probe, although now the probe has found a route, should be able to make it to the base of Tempest, although Tempest is going to go around here. And this time, of course, there's no Hedra Den in the back. We've got 100 gas. We should see the lair here soon, I'm assuming. Or we're just going to be a little bit late. Or we're going to bank gas for reasons unknown. Not really sure. This is a boatload of gas, though. Okay, so yeah, he does start lair. But I don't think he starts lair as fast as he needs to start lair. Although, no core yet from KingPi. Should see it soon, though. And let's see where he wants to put that core as well. Down here, I guess? Okay, so the core goes down for KingPi. And 3 bases on the way for Tempest. And of course, this time Tempest has taken the close third, which is generally used more if you want to play kind of a 5 or 6 hatch, more aggressive Zerg style. It's usually not going to be taken if you want to go into macro play, simply because it doesn't provide access to an easy 4th base, which is generally the way macro play goes. Like if you want to do, you know, 8-9 hatch heavy lair or fast hive with whatever, you need a good eco behind that, and with 3 bases you just don't have the gas and the eco you need to make that kind of play work. And Le Probe being chased around here. Let's see, is he gonna trap it? No, he's not. Probe will be able to sneak by if he's paying attention to it, although it gets really hard to keep alive against this number of Zerglings, and an idle moment there is all it takes. So KingPi will probably be losing this probe here shortly. Got what, 1 more hit left on it? Let's see, Tempest is not controlling his lings super heavily against it though, so it is still alive for the moment. Now it can take 2 hits, and what do we have flying in here? Oops. Whoops. I think it's gonna just barely get... Nope. Ouch. Ouch. So Tempest not quite adjusting that to the optimum fastest cannon escape route. A little too busy worrying about microing. He doesn't get the probe. He loses the Overlord, so that's a decent hit for Tempest. It's not quite as bad as if he lost it right away, but it stings. I mean, he's got to sit on the supply block now for quite a while. Although KingPi is also sitting on a little bit of supply block. More than a little bit of supply. Never mind. He had a pylon finishing. Okay. So that Corsair's on the way out. It looks like he had double Overlord, or maybe even triple Overlord. Tempest a little having to go overkill on the Overlords now, or choosing to go overkill on the Overlords. So a few build order mistakes kind of slowing Tempest down just slightly. I don't like the staggered gateway position. That's... I guess he's trying to have the top of the buildings at the same level, but I don't like the way that places cannons in the natural. I don't think it's good for defending Hydra Bust. And he's got a very fast Archives though. Wow. So just going straight into Templar. Has that second gas up and mining away with 3 probes, right? Yeah, okay, we got 3 probes on that. And Tempest, he's gonna try to put down a 6 hatch, but he doesn't. Same situation here. He doesn't really have the economy for 6 hatch. I honestly don't think he should go to 6 hatch with his economy in the state that it's in. Just tighten up the build, stay on 5 hatch. Don't miss the macro timings that are allowing you to, like, sort of fake afford that 6 hatchery. Spire's done. Should see a few pairs of Scourge. Corsair flying in now. No kills on it yet. And the Scourge will be popping here very shortly. Oh man, they almost pop right on the Corsair. If he isn't paying direct attention, which he is... Okay, so he will save this Corsair. Now, is he making any more behind this? He's made 1 more behind this. And that's a pretty common way of playing it, honestly. If you don't want to fully invest in Corsairs, make perhaps 3 Corsairs. And then you've got enough that, like, if you just show up, Like, you're still going to lose some time, but, like, you just pop 1 or 2 more Corsairs and you're okay. Oh, Tempest not paying attention to those Scourge. So those will die, and KingPi is going to keep his Corsair alive. Archon Meld here for KingPi, and needs a few more gateways, or starting some production or something. Scourge are going to fly in. They are going to see a little bit of what's going on. At least see the gateway count. They see the Archon in there. You can see an Evo chamber going up for Tempest, which is presumably going to be Hydra missiles. There we go. So yeah, we are going to see a aggressive 6-hatch play here from Tempest. And the main thing though is you'll see that he won't be able to spend all his money unless he just misses a lot of macro cycles. He just doesn't. Interesting that he has a 3rd gas though. You really only need 3rd gas if you're going to go immediately to Lurker, which maybe he is planning on doing. We'll see. Although he's not mining from it, he just has it. Little skirmish here, Ling's getting chased off at the front of the base. I think +1 is done. No, never mind. I don't know why I thought it was done. The forge was spinning. Alright, we got a couple Templar, a few Zealots coming out, and this small army over here. Tempest has quite a few Hydralisks out, though, at this point. And ought to be safe, because there are no Templar with this army, so not a threatening... Oh, actually, it doesn't have range. That's a little annoying. But more Hydra are being made here for Tempest. And you can see it just doesn't... Well, this is about to be weird. Tempest is a little out of position. Needs to get some Hydra going over here at this base. But the drones are fleeing to the other side of the base, and here come all the Hydra in from behind to fight. Now Zealots on top of the drones. Drones should just run. They should not fight. They should not fight, and he does eventually decide to run the drones, especially with an Archon there. But the Hydra are going to come back and clean this up quite easily. These Zealots are bound and determined to chase these drones. Tempest is leaving these on the ramp, I guess, just to slow, or KingPi leaving these on the ramp just to slow the approach of Tempest. See, he's staying on 5 gates, which is not enough to support a 2-base Protoss, so his money is going out of control, especially because he's not macroing behind this. But even if he were, 5 gates just not enough. Corsairs coming in here, but they are just going to die. I think he's going to lose them. Yeah, okay, actually, no, he's paying attention to them a little bit. Now, this is not what you want to do with him, though. He's not going to get any kills, and so Tempest stabilizes. And let's see if he makes a few drones behind this. He's made at least a few, but mostly his Hydra. So he wants to get aggressive behind this. He will definitely shut down this base because there are no Protoss units. Wait, there's only 1 Templar out right now. Oh man, if he's just spamming Hydra, he should be able to kill him. If he just runs straight there... Oh, actually, never mind. Alright, alright. Protoss now with that reinforcement and that Templar being 100 energy Templar, Protoss can hold this. Tempest would not necessarily be able to bust into the natural. At the very least, he'd have to do a good job baiting storms. And yeah, we can see here, like I said, Tempest is just not able to spend all of his larvae. He has not made enough drones to actually be able to afford 6-hatch Hydra. Oh, he's going for it. But there are storms on these Templar. Hopefully those storms will actually be used. Storm number 1 goes down, and that's going to force Tempest to run away. And wisely, KingPi does pull back behind his cannons, and we can see a little ways away from Lurker, though. So I don't think Tempest is going to be able to immediately contain KingPi. And he is getting some Dragoons in his army, which is good. This is going to be a beefy army pretty fast, possibly even before Lurkers are done morphing. And, oh, now it starts to look... Now it's looking like we're starting to have an economy here. So Tempest has ecoed up fairly well behind this. Now we'll be able to produce off those hatcheries for sure. As we can see, that's a huge saturation here. It's honestly a little unbalanced, but he's got solid saturation here, ridiculous saturation over here, and okay saturation over here. So yeah, good eco now for Tempest, especially since it's against the eco of a 2-base Protoss. And yeah, he's not going to be able to get the contain at the front, which he won't be thrilled about, but he's got fantastic eco. He's morphing a bunch of Lurkers. I think he's going to be maybe mining this 3rd gas now, probably working on, what, a 2nd missile upgrade. And I'm assuming we're going to see him try to go for the contain, and then probably take a 4th base of his own. But, you know, Tempest is in a good position here, with that kind of eco to support him. KingPi is moving onto the map with a modest army size. It's not the most terrifying army we've ever seen. Alright, here we go, running in. But actually, this is going to be getting Tempest to just pull back. Doesn't feel like he has enough stuff here. This Templar going on a bit of its own trip. Could get picked off. And this makes a juke back toward KingPi before deciding for real. Now I'm moving away. Okay, so we got triple evos now going. These Corsairs have returned to be obnoxious pain in the ass. They really just tickled overlords at 2 of them, but nice little split of lings here from Tempest, checking bases, shutting down those bases, but right now KingPi is not trying to expand. He's just got a boatload of gateways, 8 gateways, just macroing hard, putting up more pylons. He should have an obs or 2 in this group, right? Yeah, maybe needs a few more dragoons in there to act as his tanks. Does not have a lot of lurker busting potential with this particular composition. And oh man, the setup of his base is giving Tempest lurkers a major headache. And it looks like rather than sit outside the base, he wants to kind of just defend at both chokes. I see no drone yet. This might be the drone we were looking at that was going to take a 4th base here for Tempest. And it looks like he is going to try to take the close 4th and just kind of sneak it and turtle it up real quick. It is a very easy base to turtle right up. You know, you get 2 or 3 spores, or 2 or 3 sunks and a spore or 2 at that base and some lurkers, and it's almost unbreakable. I mean, a Protoss Reaver sieging it might be able to do it, but it's a very difficult base to break. Alright, we got some Hydra coming over here, but it's too little too late. We've already got 3 Zealots and 2 Dragoons at the top of the ramp. That ought to be enough to deflect those Hydra. 2-0 ups here. Not working on a 3rd up. So yeah, Tempest is definitely playing the I'm going to catch back up in upgrades game. He's almost got 2-1-1. Okay, so 3rd attack here starts. So KingPi will have a window if this game goes longer. He'll have a window where he's got Archons out. His Archons can be one-shotting lings, those kind of things going on. Even more lurkers. There's a lot of lurkers on the map right now for Tempest. A lot of lurkers. He made 8 or 10 earlier, and now he's making another like 6 or 7. He's going to be close to 2 control groups of lurkers. And given Protoss's composition, well, let's just say this is not really a super powerful lurker fighting combination. He's only got about a group of Dragoons. He's got 1 group exactly. He's reinforcing with a few more, so that's good. But Tempest is going over here. He's taking this base. It's pretty ecoed up. And it looks like KingPi wants to come in here and go for an attack. Tempest is just going to race these lurkers up to the high ground and defend that way. Not going to try to defend on the low ground with just a spread of lurkers. And uh-oh, he's going to get some Hydras picked off. Not a huge loss, but a bit annoying. But now these lurkers are nicely burrowed up here. No drones able to be transferred at this point. And let's see, storm going down at the ramp. Pretty decent storm. And another storm is not as decent. Tempest more or less gets out of the way of that one. He is doing a little bit of macro behind this. And that is a pretty darn good storm there, doing a lot of damage on those Hydras. Now, there's still a few storms left in this group here, but it looks like that's going to be enough for KingPi to say, okay, I'm backing up. And this is not a bad way to play as Protoss. You just move around with your army, you zone, you pick off stray units like this, and you just be generally efficient while expanding behind it. And ideally, you need to prevent those Zergs from getting any more bases. In an ideal situation, KingPi would have had a DT or something over here and tried to prevent this base from ever even going up in the first place. Gotta be so careful with those obs. Now he's going to lay siege a little bit to the front of the base. Storm going down on some of those lings running in, but they do get on top of the Dragoons just a bit. And yeah, all these lings streaming in, but they're not doing a lot. Now Hydra coming in for the other side, and KingPi's army is not exactly collected together, so Tempest is being able to chip away at this. I wouldn't say he's being able to chip away at it super cost effectively, but I mean, he has chipped away at the army of KingPi. Although it helps that KingPi is not heavily reinforcing. Does pick off the Archon, which is nice. High Templar coming forward now. Quickly, Tempest reacts, moving out of the way of that storm. But he's got his 4th base. Protoss has his 3rd base. The only thing he doesn't have is saturation at that base yet. It would be nice for him to be able to transfer drones, but he's got this Protoss big ball of doom just sitting right outside of his base. Tempest should be at 2-1-1 now. Yes, he is. Going directly to his upgrades, except not his 3rd upgrade, so he's going to be going to 2-2-2. And Protoss, I think, is getting fairly close to his 3rd attack upgrade, indeed. Oh, we do have a double forge now for Protoss, although it has never spun. It has not been used yet, it's just there. It's dead weight forge. Dead weight forge. And Tempest sliding a drone out over to this base. Hive is up, Defiler is done. Adrenal. Well, we'll just have to wait till we see Lings to know if Adrenal is done. And some Zealots being sent to the back of this base to clear it out. And I think KingPi wants to expand there. Yes, indeed he does. So he's just kind of keeping his army over there. Nicely defending his expansion. And in the meantime, Tempest is kind of just chilling maybe and ecoing up just a little bit. Pretty well defended base now, a bunch of lurkers. Got a sunk, a spore. 2 sunks actually, and a spore. And running around with a few groups here of Hydralisks. See if we'll find anything interesting to fight with those guys. Probably not. The High Templar coming back now. Is he going to go for some pickoffs? No, but those are some pretty good storms, immediately killing almost a full control group of Hydralisks. Now will he turn and go for the snipe here? Nope. His units are just busy being Brood War units and kind of tripping all over themselves, allowing that storm to get a little bit of damage done. And now the 4th base being established here for KingPi. Let's see, is he following up anywhere with Reaver Tech now? Is usually a good time to start that Reaver Tech as you start to have a good distance of bases to cover and spread to worry about. Then the Reaver becomes invaluable for base defense, and later on it becomes an invaluable tool also for trying to break Zerg's expansions and trade efficiently in some fights. And we got a bit of a battle going on here, but there's no support units. It's all soft units, squishy things, Hydras and Zerglings. So Protoss should eventually barrel through this. Could use a few Hydralisk reinforcements. Actually never gets off a swarm, and is going to lose a few Overlords here too to all these Dragoons as KingPi runs forward and takes those off quite nicely. And now Tempest is just going to have to go back to the front and defend a little bit. Throws down a Plague on these guys. And that Defiler will go down, but does have the Plague. And let's see, I think 3 attack is finished now for Protoss. Yeah, so he's going to start working on shields. Interesting choice to go for shields before armor. And Tempest is trying to get a surround on this with his Zerglings, but there's quite a bit of Zealot Archon in there. I don't think his Lings are going to be all that effective, but they will pick off a few Dragoons, continuing to whittle down that bit of KingPi's composition here. Let's see if he's going to pop some Templar out or anything like that. A few misrallied units and such. But Tempest is flooding a bunch of units right now, and it's going to force KingPi back at least a little bit here, but he does have a wall of cannons, and with no Defiler, those cannons are going to prove pretty useful. Now with all these lurkers, if you can get a Defiler over here at some point, then you can just throw it on a swarm and start burrowing everything. There's no Templar that I see. One just got picked off, but there's no Templar here to defend, and it looks like Tempest trying to use those lurkers and shut off some reinforcements of KingPi, and then perhaps pressure also with units from the top base. Although, again, just needs a few Defilers on the map right now. Without Defilers, you know, Protoss can just kind of A-move at this. This is a pretty tanky army, decent number of Dragoons, a few Archons in there, and he can just clear out these lurkers, and indeed, no swarm. Also a DT mixed in there, doing a little bit of work. And Tempest conveniently holding his base. Let's see. So he's got that 1 shields, no armor yet. And just kind of a defensive stalemate situation right now. Tempest is taking that 5th base. He definitely needs it, as Protoss does have 4. Zerg tries to keep that base count. Ideally 1 up on Protoss. Of course, mining out, looking at actual mining, we've got KingPi mining 2 bases, and Tempest is about to be mining, honestly, just 1 base right now. So yeah, he definitely needs this base to go up. Going to be an important one to have. And the only thing I don't like about the way Tempest is playing right now is he's playing really, like, one-dimensional. He's focusing all of his efforts on trying to break this top left base, rather than trying to send groups everywhere. And also, the other way he could be taking advantage of this right now, rather than just playing statically and saying, I'm going to throw everything I have at you, is he could be taking all these bases at once and basically forcing Tempest to, number one, be scouting, and number two, then react to that scouting. Because if Zerg takes 3 bases, if you're KingPi, then what you need to do is you have to respond to that in some way. Like, you can't just camp your army in front of this base and say, okay, yeah, you can have those 3 bases. So it's going to force you to send army down here, and then that can open up options for Tempest to attack up here. But the way he's playing it right now, basically what KingPi is doing, he said, hey, I've got this 4th base. I'm going to take it and I'm going to defend it, and I want you to attack me because I'm sitting here defending, and that's exactly what Tempest is doing. He's just doing exactly what KingPi wants. Like, KingPi is totally happy with this right now. I mean, he could be controlling his army a little bit better, those kind of things. But, I mean, Tempest is just constantly throwing units here at KingPi that KingPi can then clean up. And actually, KingPi's done a nice job here of sneaking out a group of Zealots. So, this is going to be a pretty big loss here. Oh, whoa, whoa, what? Oh, that's a blunder. That was like a game winner there, and he just backs up. I don't understand that decision at all. I was waiting for that Templar. I don't know what's up with that. But, yeah, questionable decision to say the least. He's not going to go over and kill that base. The base has 0 defense right now. But it looks like Tempest just wants to continue to fight here at this base out in front. Storm going down on these lurkers, but they're not burrowed, so they're going to quickly move away from that. And Protoss now trying to reinforce everything here over at this base. Tempest continuing to bring these lurkers from earlier forward here. It is just Zealots. He really needs a storm here, or all these Zealots might get shredded. Those are 2 very good storms. They pop the lurkers, so that's a good one there. And then KingPi wisely pulls back with his army. The only thing I would like to see from KingPi is a few more Archons in the mix, especially as all these Zerglings start to come in. You need those Archons to shred those guys up. They just trade too efficiently, even with Zealots, but certainly with Dragoons. So he needs to add that to his composition. We can see Tempest is just constantly streaming in units here. Is he going to get Templar out of this? Nope. Templar will move back, and KingPi just sitting there in his defensive position as Tempest hurls unit after unit at him, but it's not coordinated. However, I still can't believe that KingPi, if KingPi ends up losing this game, he is going to rue the day that he did not kill that base. That was such a bizarre decision. Like, that was a huge opportunity that he missed. And now he's letting Tempest continue to mine from this base and stay in this game eco-wise. A lot of money from KingPi. And the other thing I don't like, well, finally there are Reavers. He needs Reavers. Then he can just fall back here and just have Reavers and a few Templar, and then he can be roving the army, roving the map with his main army rather than having to sit back. Like right now, he kind of, because one swarm ends this base, so he kind of has to sit back with his army, and he can't do a lot against these bases outside of sending a DT over here, but he was already... I don't know what he's doing. He should have killed that base. And Tempest is just rocking the gas, making a ton of lurkers. Ton of lurkers. He has pulled a lot of his defensive lurkers away, though. Those have all been thrown away, and most of these attacks he's pulled lurkers from here. In fact, this base is actually very vulnerable right now if KingPi were to get whiff of it. Upgrades look pretty good for both players. We're at 322 for Protoss. Should probably grab that last one, but still, it's pretty good. And now, okay, so this is finally the moment where Protoss wants to go shut down these 2 bases, and the question is, how... Oh, this base could easily die. If there were 2 Templar here, then I would say, it's going to be hard to break. But the way it's set up now, this base is vulnerable. So let's see how Tempest plays this. Does he sack these bases? It looks like he's sacking these bases. And let's see if he can shut down this base. He should be able to shut down this base. I like the fact that Protoss is walling this off. I don't like the fact that the Reaver's out of position or that there's only 1 Reaver. Although actually Tempest is going to make the interesting decision to come down here and try to save his lower bases. And I don't know if that's going to work out for him here. There's a lot of Protoss in this choke. Now the Archons aren't fighting. This is not the best unit setup here. It's on hold position. But the base in the main is 100% going down, so the work for these units here for KingPi's army is done. He has shut down all of Tempest mining, but this fragile eco up here. And that is a big win. Some nice storms there. Archons move back to the ramp, so Archons are doing work, but we're down to just 1 Archon, although we have lost the base up here. And overall, I honestly kind of like KingPi's army control. He just needs to get a little bit better at keeping everything like clumped up. There's a few too many times he's on hold position, and it's not quite working out for him. Now, a nice shutdown on the top nexus here from Tempest, a good drop, but let's face it, the eco now for KingPi is dramatically better. Dramatically better. You should collect this army though, where you can get it run over. Like if these two Archons don't link up, they can totally get killed, but if these Templar come back and throw storms on these lurkers, this is the kind of thing that can be cleaned out. Now Tempest still has a pretty big bank, so that's kind of going in his favor, and losing this base is definitely a pain in the ass for Tempest. This Archon gets surrounded and picked off. Let's see, this Templar actually doesn't have any storms, so this army is pretty well and truly trapped in here right now. And some macro troubles definitely for KingPi. And now we've got a bunch of swarms at the bottom base here, and this could be a big deal. Reavers are getting off some nice shots though, and there is army coming back to defend, so this base should live, especially with Reaver support. These links can be picked off as the Reaver hides in the minerals. Needs to keep those Reavers being made. It's the only thing he's not doing right now. No Reavers, no shuttles. But this is an annoying army to have sitting up here. I hope it doesn't. I hope it just actually sits up the ramp. It's probably a better place for it to chill. A few hydras being made, perhaps to help clear this. And of course now this base is back to being available for KingPi. So let's see, we've got about 800 minerals here. Slightly more minerals left for Tempest. And this is a bit of a crazy attack. I don't know if this is really worth it. Maybe with a 6 storm. Gets off a nice plague swarm combination, and that is going to force KingPi to pull back. And he is macroing up a little bit, but man, he just needs to make like a bunch of Archons. Too many Dragoons, in my opinion, for a late game army comp. Having a few in there, okay, but making like entire control groups of Dragoons at a time is not very strong late game. You really want a more of an Archon Zealot Templar composition. The gas and beefiness of Dragoons that is strong in the mid game becomes quite a handicap as game length goes on. Now, did he get 3? No, he's still stuck on 322. It seems he's forgotten about his upgrades. And now Tempest has mostly spent through his bank, and he's still pretty small, although he still has a boatload of lurkers. Or at least what feels like a boatload of lurkers. Okay, so KingPi is really hurting himself right now by not expanding up here. Also possible by not possibly could be missing out on great opportunities to harass this base, and not making Reavers could be an issue. He's making some unfortunate defensive issues. A very ballsy move by Tempest to take the center of the map here. Alright, so we're getting a few more Templar, some idle gateways. And now we have KingPi at 200 supply moving across the map. And let's see, so unfortunately Tempest has still not been able to retake the space at the bottom. Defiler is consuming though, so that's going to be really good for him. And now these Dragoons are about to be just more or less paperweights. Nice plague there. Does he have enough to swarm? Oh, that is a nice target fire. But there's very few storms with this army. But let's see here, if he just sends the goons in, he might be able to bust through here. But again, all these Hivelink are going to be so nice without that heavy Archon support mixing with this army. And uh-oh, this might be a bit of an overextension here from Tempest. Army getting stormed, lots of Dragoons, no Defilers there for that. And yeah, this is going to be another 6 or 8 lurkers that Tempest gives more or less for free to the army of KingPi. But he has secured the drop in the main. A few wings are out, but is there an obs? He needs an obs to clear out these 2 lurkers. This is actually being handled pretty well, all things considered, outside of these 2 lurkers dropping in here and being quite annoying. And he also has dropped some lings over here, continuing to prevent that base from going up. But now we're having a Protoss flanking Zerg. How often do you see that? Not very often. That gets cleared out here for KingPi. And finally an Obelisk back in here. The Templar either intentionally or incidentally goes down. And it looks like Tempest doesn't really have the units he needs to re-secure this bottom base. And he's just got this little bit of fragile mining. This base, I can't believe this base is even alive. That's unfortunate on a scouting standpoint from KingPi. And wow, another treasure trove of lurkers found over here that will die. Probably the Archon will go down, but also all these lurkers are being thrown away. And base pretty well secured. Now KingPi needs to do something about this base. And also, ideally, something about these Zerglings. He is remaking a Reaver here, which is a very good decision. Let's see, he has a few probes just kind of chilling around the map. But Tempest is really broke right now. He is making 4 Sunkens to try to defend this center base. But if you look at it, he doesn't have the units. He just doesn't have Lurkers. And a few Lings and Sunkens are not going to hold up to just a big Protoss army attacking you. He's killing this so he can get back in here with this army. He's going to unpower... Actually, no, wow, okay. Pylon range extending pretty well here to give cannon coverage. She just needs to find this base. Oh, Lurker here being an asshole. Trying to deny his base, but there's a little bit of Protoss here to clear that out. And a small group here that should eventually clear out the top base as well. And that will return KingPi to more or less map control right now. And just a very uncomfortable position right now for Tempest. He's got a boatload of Defilers, which are nice, but he doesn't have any good Defilery units, like units that are good with Defilers. I mean, Lings are sort of nice, but Lings with Defilers are not that great against Zealot Archon. And of course, obviously nothing is good against Reavers. Except maybe Mutalisks. Mutalisks are pretty nice against Reavers. Oh, there's still 2 Lings. That could be annoying. But with this base going up, it's not looking good here for Tempest. I mean, Tempest does not have the 2 bases he needs to have. He's only got this base and a little bit of this base to work with. And he's not producing any Lurkers so far as I can tell. Actually, he has gotten a few Lurkers out, so that at least is good for his defense. And now, will we see KingPi come in here and try to bust this? And he will probably have enough units to do it. I don't see anything out on the map here from Tempest that's really going to be able to stop this. Storming the Defiler is a bit of an odd choice. I would storm the Lurkers. Just break down these first few Lurkers and then just kind of run in on everything. Some Scourge for Tempest right now would be really nice, maybe as an attempt to try to snipe those obs or something, but that is just a big army right here from KingPi. And here we go. He's trying to break into the center. The last Lurker falls, and that really doesn't leave any other units from Tempest. I think he's going to get broken at this base. KingPi has secured the bottom base. No Defiler with this group. I don't think this will be able to shut it down, so that's going to give KingPi 2 mining bases, Tempest barely mining 1, and that is probably going to be all she wrote for Tempest. KingPi also still has a very beefy bank upon which to work. We do have a flank coming in from the other side, but the swarm runs out, and GG is said. KingPi takes that game, and we are going to a game 3 between these two. Very close in economy. Oh, okay, so KingPi does get the win. He missed an opportunity to kill a critical base. I was worried that was going to cost him, but in the end, he gets that one. You want to 1v1 me like after this game? We can play like after this game if you want. Alright, so in the bottom left-hand corner as the yellow Zerg, we have Tempest. And in the top right-hand corner as the teal Protoss, we have KingPi. Yeah, I'll play like all comers after I'm done casting. I'll play all comers. I don't care if you're 400 MMR or if your name is Flash or Lee Young Ho. I'll play whoever. As many games as they want. If Flash was like, yo, let's play best of 1,000, I'd be like, okay, let's play. I'll probably never make it past the mid-game, but whatever. But whatever. Alright, so Overlord going north here for Tempest. And the probe is out to the natural for KingPi. So we'll see where this goes. Both of these players have shown that they can be a little bit passive in how they play. Although, maybe that's not quite fair to say. I don't know. Maybe that's a little strong. KingPi was pretty passive. KingPi was pretty passive. He mostly defended that game. He was very careful not to pressure too hard, which in many respects is smart, but Tempest, if he sensed that, could be a little more abusive. That Tempest again with the overpool. He loves his overpool, clearly. And the Overlord heads north. He heads north. And what are we going to get here? Is it a forge? It is a forge here from KingPi, so again, sticking with that standard play. And let's see, we have a drone going out. Is it going to be able to build the hatchery? Probably. No, actually, that's not the hatchery building drone yet. And in comes the scouting probe. In comes the scouting probe. Lings are being saved, and yeah, cross map, so should be fine with just one cannon. Oh, not the biggest fan of 2 cannons versus Overpool. Not the biggest especially when that happens. And you're just like, cancel a cannon, buddy. Come on, KingPi, please. Please, cancel a cannon. Just do it, come on. Okay, nope. Alright, well, he's gonna have 2 cannons. It's gonna slow him down a little bit. A little bit of a subtle advantage here for Tempest. 2 cannons definitely not necessary for the 4 lings. Overlord finding the wrong base. And we got a probe heading down here. Gonna take a look at what's going on. And the Nexus drops. Dropping next side like it's hot. And this cast has gone much longer than I expected, I'm not gonna lie. We are at almost 3.5 hours. We've gotten some long games. Alright, so pylon is down, and gas, and oh, whoa, this is weird. This is like hidden base weird from Tempest. He's opted to take. This is just weird, boys. Yeah, I've never seen a Zerg take this base in my life. I'd rather he like took the base up here or something, did something like really unexpected. Because I mean, let's face, or maybe like over here, that'd be weird too. But like this base is not really naturally defendable. It's like open from 2 sides, and it's not close. Like this base is open, but at least it's kind of close. But this base is far away and open, and only gives you access to 1 gas. Interesting choice here from Tempest. Very interesting choice. Let's just say he ain't doing things by the book. Like, you ain't never seen a Korean Zerg come over here and take this base as his 3rd base. It just don't happen. Alright, so layer about half done. And Cybernetics Core starts now. Very slow Cyber Core as a result of all those cannons and other things just kind of drawing the build back. So looking at the timing of that, I mean, yeah, it's going to be fine here for Tempest. Should not lose any Corsairs to Scourgy. Scourgy will get no kills. What? Do you have a question, or? Yeah. Alright, so let's see, +1 for Protoss. And Stargate and Citadel, so pretty standard looking build. Basically the same as we've seen in all the previous games. Only thing that's different is Tempest has made a few more lings than I think we've seen in previous games. He's got ling speed, so yeah, no scouting, but he's got a spire, so that's normal. No gas, everything's normal, just has ling speed. So KingPi is playing a little bit blind, playing a little bit bold here to just stick with 2 cannons, being completely blind. That's definitely taking a risk. I understand why you don't want to build them, but at the same time understand if Zerg is being aggressive behind us, you are about to get just, well, fucked. And a pylon and an archive, so 1 gate into tech. KingPi definitely likes that, getting out his tech out nice and quickly. Probably just see 1 Corsair, or will we see more? I'm thinking we might just see 1, given how fast he's teching. And how low his gas is. If he's going to be able to use that tech, he can't really afford to make another Corsair. Also, I wonder, he is going to make another Corsair though, interestingly. Is he short a guy on gas? Ah, that's the problem. See this? This guy is faking him. It's tricking him. We'll see if he comes back and notices that. He's got another one of these. He's mining with just 2 from gas, I think. Yeah, he's having this long period where there's like not someone there, I think. Well, I don't know, maybe he's got 3 on, and there's just an extra one. I honestly can't tell, but he seems a bit low on gas. But he might have 4, and there just happens to be a rallied probe that's sitting in a inappropriate spot. Alright, so we got 4 Scourge out. Where's the Sare? Sare's there. Sare lost 4 shields? What the f... How did the Sare lose 4 shields? Got some Mutalisk out. And a couple gates. I really want to know how the Sare lost like 4 shields. What did he do? Did he accidentally hit it with like his other Sare or cannon? Like, there's no Hydralisk out. There's nothing I know of that would do 4 damage to a Corsair, and these Muta weren't out at that time. So I'm honestly unsure. Now, he's only got 4 Muta here, so I don't really know what he's looking to get done with just 4 Muta. I don't think he can get a whole lot done. I guess he can chase his Corsairs and try to, like, scourge the Corsairs, but outside of that, like, 4 Muta are not really going to kill any cannons, and he's just going to turn around, because he doesn't have enough. Let's see if he tries to send in the Scourge. They're too far away from the Muta there. So he's getting his Scourge picked off, and yeah, he's going to get basically turned around. You're just not going to get all that much done with just 4 Mutalisks. And Tempest here, up to about 1,000 minerals, slipping a bit on his macro. He's getting his Hydra ups. He's going to add that 6 hatchery again. Let's take a look at the drone saturation. So kind of the same issue we've seen before from Tempest. Maybe marginally better drone saturation, but not particularly great saturation. He might, okay, with all these drones popping, never mind. He's got enough drones in now for sure. Okay, so he's got a good economy. So he has drone behind these Mutalisks. Whoa, we got a DT somewhere or something like that going on. Where was that? I heard it. I swear I heard it. Oh, there's 1 DT here. And apparently it has 7 kills. From what? The Lings at the front of the base, I guess. That's probably what I heard. Is the DT killing the Lings at the front. Because there's no way it's killed 7 drones just looking at supplies and drone count and the fact that it just came out. Alright, so Meteor coming back here, but they are taking a lot of Corsair damage, so they're more or less dead weight at this point. And, okay, so Overlords will see the DT if Tempest is paying attention. Whoops. Well, Tempest is going to suicide, kill one of his own Overlords. Maybe, maybe not. But DT does get picked off. We hear it dying over here. Narrowly avoids killing one of his own Overlords in a fit of rage. And let's see, is this +2? +2 for Protoss. Do we have EO Chamber? Yes, we do. So we're about to get our first missile, and we're going to have our first little engagement out on the map. Small group of Zealot Archon coming across here, and Tempest just needs to pull back. Muta are kind of here, but they're not really going to do anything in this fight, and now quite a few Hydralisks are out here for KingPi, and that is going to be more than enough to force him to turn around. Corsair are going to come in and be annoying. The Muta are going to, I guess, buy a little bit of time here. Hydralisk now on top of the Corsairs, going to chase those guys away, and yeah, nice movements there with his Hydra. And Tempest does chase back those Corsair, and he's going to chase back KingPi in general, pushing him back towards his natural. He does have an Overlord there. You can see that this base is going up. Not a rallied gate there from KingPi. Last Muta we hear dying, taking its dying breath. And we've got our 2 upgrade here for KingPi, and now in come the Zealots, and KingPi is going to need to hit some very good storms if he wants to keep the, actually he's not even going to bother to try to keep the 3rd alive. Alright, let's see how much energy we have. We got 115, we have 108. Alright, so he's got 2 storms. If those 2 storms are whiffs, he could definitely die to this, but if the 2 storms are decent, then he'll be a very comfortable hold. So let's see here. It's going to be hard for Tempest to micro well. That's a pretty damn good first storm, and that alone is probably enough to repel this army from his front. The second storm is actually pretty bad, but he's trapping off Hydra here, and he's already forcing a retreat for Tempest. So mission accomplished for the moment for KingPi. He has secured that. We can see Lurkers on the way. Sunken Colony going up here for Tempest. And the lair is solidly done. I don't know why I said that. Obviously the lair's been done for ages. I guess that's what happens when you get to 3 hours and 40 minutes. Although then again, you got to give a shout out to who was it? Rapid at the Moscow LAN, like 11 hours or something of casting. I've done 6 or 7 once, and that's long. 11 hours is just, that's a whole new dimension of long. Alright, so now we got a fairly scary army, especially since I think every Templar has storms now. Yeah, so every Templar has got at least 1 storm. It would be nice to see a few Dragoons in the mix, but all else equal, this is a pretty intimidating army. Although with these Lurkers morphing, this army can rapidly become not intimidating. Lurkers are fortunately in a line, but he's forcing some nice cancels. But Tempest has a lot of Hydralisks, and KingPi's army is not collected here, so he's donating a lot of Zealots for free. One Corsair goes completely rogue, and that goes badly enough for KingPi to have to retreat. And right now, Tempest is taking a fourth, which I like, and he's kind of smothering KingPi at the moment. He's just got this big eco behind this. He's macroing okay. Could have a little bit more. He's made a shitload of drones. Like this time, Tempest has really taken the opportunity to drone and done a good job of it. He's getting Lings in the mix now. He's got his second Evo up. His Evo and his missiles. And still no third base right now from KingPi. I mean, if this goes up, the way Tempest is playing, it's going to be almost impossible for KingPi to deal with. Now let's see, these drones. Yeah, these drones finally got sent to a home somewhere. Just needs maybe a few more in the main, but really, really fantastic eco. And we've got Tempest sliding around the back door here. It looks like KingPi is reasonably in position, though. Shouldn't take him that long to shift back. Should be able to throw a few storms down here and just absolutely mess up everything right here. So yeah, Tempest is going to bleed some units committing to this. Although he needs to bring down another one to storm on these Lurkers. And actually, I don't know if the Nexus died or was forced to cancel, but either way, that's not good. With all these Templar this close, he should not have had to do that. So this is going pretty well for Tempest, and all of a sudden now also Hydra from the other side. Huge storm, though, just murders those Hydras. Tempest microing elsewhere. And now he's overstayed his welcome, and Tempest will need to back up, but he has gotten quite a bit of bang for his buck there. Interesting, throws down a storm, but Tempest not microing that at all. Alright, so yeah. And now this Lurker is going to burrow at the third and just continue to delay the third for Protoss, which is, now we're at the point where it's becoming really a big deal. Tempest has a fourth base up, and Protoss doesn't even have a third. He's working off only 2 gases, which is pretty limited eco. Tempest is on his way to hive. He's got his triple evos going. Protoss does have 2 attack, but Tempest is working on all of his upgrades. I don't think there's a double forge for Protoss. No, there's not. And he does still have these Corsairs alive, which I do appreciate the fact that he takes his Corsairs and he kind of keeps them around. That's really valuable and worth doing. How come the smaller units can't hit as fast as other big ones? I think the smaller units generally hit faster. If you're talking about the little Zerg guy, well, he actually isn't making any Zerglings right now. But Zealots attack pretty fast. Zerglings attack just a little bit faster. So Zealots definitely attack faster than Dragoons. Hydralisks are pretty small. So I'm not sure which guys you're asking me. Which big guys? Like, the big guys that are called Dragoons? The big guys that are called Hydralisks? The big guys that are called Lurkers? Like, which can't attack as fast as which? I don't know what your question quite is yet. Someone in chat can probably answer for you, in all honesty. I don't quite know what you mean. Alright, so we have some storms being thrown down here on the Lurkers. And, oh, that's going to force an unmorphing here for Tempest. And now there's a nice, beefy Protoss Dragoon-heavy army that fights pretty well against Hydra Lurk with some good storms. A few Zealots in there, always good to have a few in there, but this is a composition I really like for fighting Hydra Lurk. This Templar has so many storms, but he's only going to throw down 1 storm. Will he throw down another before he gets picked off? Tempest is moving in there, pick that one off, picks off the other one too. A bunch of Scourge arriving, but they're not going to be useful, and it looks like maybe finally this will get cleared because all of this is just Scourge, trying to get rid of those last of those Corsairs. Still though, 1 Corsair is going to survive, a few more Overlords are going to go down, going to have to sack them to clean that up, and that Lurker gets cleaned up. Alright, so that Overlord goes down. And yeah, now KingPi is finally able to throw his Nexus, and Tempest has 80 supply, but if you look at what he has, there's just a few Lings and a few Hydralisks. Like, he's probably got 70 or 75 drones. I mean, Tempest has a very large economy behind all of this right now. As far as your question, Sherwood, sounds like you have experience in the matter. I would just defer to you on that, in all honesty. You can inform us. So we've got some Lurkers on the high ground. being morphed, which he's going to need because that is a big-ass army coming out from KingPi and basically going to storm all of those lurkers. And without lurkers, everything else is going to get stormed and cleaned up just fine. And let's see how he's going to burrow this. This would be not a very good burrow. Alright, I'd like to see something that more resembles an arc. And he needs to form a few more units up here right now. But this is definitely a scary army here from KingPi. Although the crack on the Lings is going to be really helpful now that that is done. And once the Defiler is out, then the army suddenly becomes a hell of a lot less scary. A few Lings coming out here, they're not going to do a whole lot. What's he got for... Oh, he doesn't have very much defense over this base, though. So let's see if Tempest can handle this army right now from KingPi. He's sending a bunch of Lings in here, and as a mostly Dragoon-based army, these Lings are going to become very effective very quickly. Most of the Zealots being bled out now. I don't see any Archons in here with the composition. And this is sort of the one thing... Like, KingPi does a lot of good things with his army, but sometimes it just gets a little too spaced out. You really need it to bunch up to be effective. So now Zealots coming down here to the ramp, and KingPi is going to commit everything to this bust, which means that Tempest should be able to come in here and surround and flank a lot of this. Templar, at least some of the Templars still have storms, is picking off some of these units here that are not being microed, such as these Templar, splitting to try to get them, although attack priority means the Templar aren't naturally going down. Lurkers coming to block at the top of the ramp, and the Dragoons are trying to escape, but there are Lings here. He's going to be forced back into the natural. And with this number of lurkers, the army for KingPi is going to get cleaned up, but it does look like it's going to kill the Nexus. So it's going to put Tempest back on 3 bases, and this is turning into a reasonable attack from KingPi if he's been macroing back at home. He has been, although he still doesn't have as much army as we'd like to see, but there's definitely more than enough to defend the 3rd against any sort of counterattack. Now Tempest clears that out pretty quickly, and so he can go ahead and drone there. Alright, so storm on a few of those Lings, pulls back to the cannons. Well, that was a hell of a ridiculously bad storm. Okay, well, if this base suddenly gets attacked by a bunch of Lings and a Dark Swarm, or Lurkers and a Dark Swarm, it's probably going to be pretty sad that he did that. Just the anti-magic box of Storm Death. Alright, so we got a few Defilers finally now popping. If Tempest would have had them earlier, he would have been able to save that base pretty easily, but unfortunately it did not. Now, supply is still pretty equal, but we have only... Well, we've still got just a little bit of mining left from Tempest, but every base of his is just about out, whereas there's still quite a bit at this base here for KingPi, so Tempest does need to reestablish a base rather quickly. And he's sending a unit over here to do that. There, of course, there is... Ooh, that Zealot, if it notices... can just easily kill off that drone. Let's see if he is paying attention. Maybe he's got it. Oh, there's already a hatch going down here. Well, it's going to kill off this drone. And a bunch of Lings being sent to this base. I don't know if it's a wise idea right now for Tempest to counterattack. This is most of what he has. And if it doesn't go well for him, if he gets stormed, then he's going to be left with not a lot, and that will leave a decent army of KingPi to counterattack with. The one good thing is it's mostly Zealots here. Alright, so it looks like Tempest is going to commit to this. He's going to flood quite a few units. It's really unfortunate he doesn't have a Defiler. Only 4 cannons, though. Not a crazy cannon count. Lings are clearing out this Zealot over here, so goodbye Tempest. And now he's going to start flooding in the Lings. Let's see if this baits out the storm. So far, it does bait out a storm. That's a really good one to bait. That storm did basically nothing. How many storms are left here? Actually, there's just 2, which could be a big deal because that's a lot of Lurkers. And now we have a Defiler. And coming down, Tempest trying to orchestrate something with this attack. If he shuts down this base, he's definitely going to win this game, especially if he shuts down with minimal losses. If he gets crushed here, though, then it's anyone's question. Oh, those Lurkers burrow in a very clump position. Now Tempest splitting them up a little more. He walks into a storm, but it might not matter because that's a hell of a lot of Lurkers. And KingPi is desperately running in now. He wants to save this base, but his Zealots are evaporating to the Lurkers. There's almost no army left. There are Lings in his mineral line, and Tempest has a large stream of reinforcements. I don't think it's enough for KingPi with that many Lurkers, and there it is. GG. Tempest breaks KingPi, takes the series 2-1, and closes it out in a nail-biter of a Game 3. Although, given the resources differential, it was kind of surprising there was that much of a nail-biter.